you have Jeff and Shaleia very creepily from their bedroom or wherever this is telling you you're still doing something wrong. Something is still inherently wrong with you, so much that you are pushing your twin away. You're pushing your lover away. You're still not good enough for your ultimate lover. Hey everyone, welcome back or welcome if you're new. My name is Erin and I am fascinated by all things cult, true crime, and unique spiritual practices. I post deep dives every week on one of these topics, and today we're doing something a little bit different, a little more fun. It's a little more unstructured. I'm going to be reacting to some of the crazier things that Jeff and Shaleia like to say about Twin Flames universe. If you like videos like this, please let me know down in the comments below because I'm thinking of making this a series and I think I might feature Teal Swan next week. So if there's anything unhinged you've seen from her, please feel free to either send it to me on my Instagram and I will react to some of the more wild things that she says. But before we jump right into it, I want to share today's teacher wish list. All summer long, I am sponsoring teachers. So if you're inclined or you have the means, please go ahead and click on that pinned comment down below. You will find this teacher's Amazon wish list. Now, Lizzie writes, and she shares a lot of compliments that feels a little masturbatory if I just say them, but thank you. You're so kind. And she goes on to say, I'm entering my 4th year as a special education teacher. I'm entering a new job teaching first grade students with disabilities in a specialized day class. My students range in skill and have very diverse needs. My students range from having developmental disabilities to learning disabilities. My classroom size ranges wildly depending on where I work, so I'm trying to obtain things I have found worked with my students in the past, but I had to borrow and no longer will have access to. My list has various things, and I'm grateful for any help someone is willing to give, anything from buying extra pencils, markers, or crayons, all the way to helping us purchase the sensory items would be greatly appreciated. And again, the link to her Amazon wish list is in the pinned comment down below. Once again, Lizzie, thank you for your support of the channel and your sweet compliments and for all the work you do. It sounds like you're kind of bouncing around from either classroom to classroom or location to location, and I can imagine that that must be really, really stressful. So hopefully some of my wonderful audience members will be able to help you out with some of your items. So again, her link to her Amazon wish list is in that pinned comment down below, and just make sure you send it to her address. Your own address will always pop up. You might have to scroll down until you find Lizzie's or Elizabeth's address, but you won't see exactly where she lives. It's all very safe. Anyways, guys, with all of that being said, let's jump right into today's video. Now, in my last Twin Flames Universe video, I actually interviewed someone who had ended up in jail because of how obsessed she had become with whoever she thought her twin flame was. And we've seen and heard a lot of stories from that perspective. But while I was perusing Reddit for some stories about twin flames, I found someone who shared the exact opposite point of view. Someone wrote in the Twin Flames forum slash subreddit begging for an answer to how to get someone who thought he was their twin flame to stop talking to him. So if you're a part of Twin Flames universe or you do believe in this concept, I think it's really, really interesting to see this from the other perspective. So let's listen to what he has to say. Hello. This is probably a very unusual post on this forum, but I genuinely need help with a person who believes me to be a twin flame. She is absolutely enamored with the thought of us being in union, something which I do not wish to engage in nor have ever encouraged. I think she is misconstructing my feelings due to a series of coincidences that she has willfully taken to be signs. For some background, I am a 25-year-old male, very happily taken, and she is a single 48-year-old woman. Let's call her Eve. I met Eve in one of those cosmic shops that you see billboards for on the highway. I befriended her and we exchanged numbers after she volunteered to teach me about stones and how to use them. Again, this is a woman 23 years older than me, so I thought her feelings were pretty maternal. I have nothing against age gap relationships, but I feel uncomfortable with the concept that I was already promised to this grown adult from the time of my conception. That mentality just doesn't sit right with me, especially as a CSA survivor. I very much do not like the condescension she exhibited within the first couple of conversations we had. Due to this age gap and her awakening, I'm running because Eve clearly doesn't care about consent and would likely be unhinged or abusive if I were to ever make sustained contact with her. So, this is a concept that we've talked about many times in the Twin Flames universe and also within the Twin Flames concept itself, where if you think somebody is your twin flame, but they aren't accepting that themselves, that person is called the runner. They are, for whatever reason, running from this union. And if they're your true twin flame, eventually they will turn around and run towards you. But in order for that to happen, you have to consistently check in with yourself. You have to use the mirror exercise. You have to heal something within yourself. And then basically, law of attraction vibe, draw them back to you. And throughout this process, you may see a series of coincidences that you're going to mistake for synchronicities, or you're going to see angel numbers or a specific animal that to you might signify love or symbolize your twin flame. And you're going to misconstrue that to mean that your twin flame is thinking about you. There's this idea that we are here in the 3D and then in like the 4D, 5D, these other dimensions, you two are actually already together. So there's this idea of, oh, if you have a dream about them, they're having that same dream about you. Oh, if you think about them, they must be thinking about you because there's always an equal and opposite reaction, as in you're vibrating at such a frequency that you are magnetizing them to you. And eventually, as long as you keep pursuing them and daydreaming about them and kind of staying in their periphery, eventually they will want to be with you. But this person brings up a very, very good concern that there's no consent here now in this relationship because he has told her very specifically, no, I'm with somebody else. And in one of my previous videos, we talked about that concept of, well, if your twin flame is with their false twin flame, you should still pursue them because then not only will you be with your full real twin flame, but you will release their false twin flame to go find their true twin flame. Do you see how it gets really convoluted and confusing? Okay. He goes on. I have seen Eve's social media accounts simply out of a fascination of how deep her delusion goes, and the entitlement she feels towards me and my free will is disgusting. I am not a runner. I am a person exercising my right to consent, and I don't understand why everyone in her little circle is feeding her delusion. Oh, his birthday numbers popped up. Sync. Oh, I saw 4 ones in a row. He's awakening. Union is coming. We are just in separation. To be clear, I'm not attacking the beliefs of this sub. I just don't believe in that sort of thing and really don't like this woman being encouraged to force her beliefs on me. Also, I'm taken and don't appreciate her calling my girlfriend a narcissist. Outside of the ableist connotations of labeling all bad people with already stigmatized personality disorders, it is really putting a strain on my relationship because I was friends with Eve in the beginning. When she posts, narcissistic karma has always been draining his energy, my girlfriend reasonably becomes anxious to know if I said dreadful things about her when I was in communication with Eve which I didn't. Eve genuinely believes she can feel my emotions at all times and has a right to save me from a karmic relationship. I'm not avoiding my feelings towards her when I block and report her. I simply don't wish to exacerbate what I think is untreated erotomania with a side of Southern entitlement. To be clear, my girlfriend and I certainly are not going to break up over this, but it is a tense subject, considering that she is being smeared as an abuse. My question to the sub is, what would your twin flame have to do for you to no longer believe that they are the one? What would they have to say or do that is a dead giveaway that they are not your twin? I wish to put an end to her obsession in the hopes that she'll stop telling everyone about how she met someone with my twin's name at 11:11 or saw her twin in a dream playing in his childhood backyard. Those last two are real things that she believes are messages from above. No, those are emotional wet dreams. What would make you believe you were wrong about your twin flame, and how can I do that? So this person is literally like desperately seeking answers. He's like, this woman is literally ruining my life, causing so much additional stress on me and on my relationship. And I think the sooner that people who believe in this twin flame ideology, because honestly, it would not surprise me if Eve was in twin flames universe at this point, because this is exactly what Jeff and Shaleia encourage their followers to do. But I feel like this is the other side of the coin that we're seeing. We're seeing someone whose life is being deeply, deeply affected by a dangerous belief system that they want to play no part in. No part in. Because if you truly believed that you had a twin flame, that person would also have to believe in the concept of being a twin flame. Because otherwise, they're like, you just would come across as absolutely unhinged. And I think that what's really sad to me is whether or not Jeff and Chilia know how unhinged this is, or how unhinged this behavior is to continuously encourage within their followers, to the point where people are getting multiple restraining orders and even arrested. This is the other side of that, where it's like, please, just what do I have to do to get this person to leave me alone? This is dangerous, stalking, predatory behavior. And it could exacerbate an underlying mental health condition, because in a lot of these spiritual circles, they're discouraged from taking actual medication for a diagnosis or getting a diagnosis at all. Everything is energy and your vibration, and every single feeling is 100% completely real, even if it's triggered by a delusion like this. So it can be very, very dangerous. And I'm speaking vaguely because I don't want to isolate any type of diagnosis, and I don't want anyone to feel like I'm generalizing a certain diagnosis, but I do feel like, especially as someone who has played into the law of attraction ideology, I've seen how damaging it can be to my mental health. So I can only imagine when an actual human being is involved and you're consistently stalking them or harassing them or talking to them or won't leave them alone or posting stuff about them that they can see. It is a dangerous thing to do. It's a dangerous practice to promote doing. And it's important to hear these stories, because if you're watching this and you're a part of Twin Flames universe, or you believe in the Twin Flames concept and you're behaving like this woman Eve, you are you are pushing people away from you. People don't like this behavior. It makes people uncomfortable. Very, very uncomfortable. So I wanted to start the video off with that, so that as we go into some of Jeff and Shalia's blog posts or videos, we have a really deep understanding on the effect that their teachings are having on people that want absolutely nothing to do with them or their teachings. It is simply not fair. So I have shown you all Jeff and Shaleia's Twin Flames Universe website several times, and they seem to keep like updating it. It seems like they got like a web designer, and they have linked a lot of their YouTube videos to their website. So I thought we would watch one together because I think that would be fun. This one caught my eye, especially based off of what we've been talking about in this video. Why your twin flame won't contact you. The real reason, Jeff and Shaleia. So let's see what they say.
Hi, welcome back to our channel. I'm Shaleia.
And I'm Jeff.
And we're talking about the real reason why your twin flame won't contact you. So this is a really fun and juicy topic, and I think a lot of us, not me, but a lot of people, and I say that with respect, right? Like a lot of people experience, their twin flame not contacting them.
I'm not worried about it because I've got my twin right here. We're actually the ones together scamming all of you guys right now. Not to make you feel bad or anything, but we're together. And so if you're desperate for your twin flame, we're going to tell you why.
I say that with respect, right? Like a lot of people experience, their twin flame not contacting them, and it can feel very painful. It can feel very difficult and challenging, and not sure what to do, or you've been blocked on like Facebook and your phone and email, all of it, right? And all you want to do is just like desperately get in touch with them, and hopefully reestablish your line of communication and connection.
It's a fun one in Ascension School.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people that are in our classes, yes, of course, they experience this issue too.
Gotta sell the class because you're not going to get to be with your twin flame if you don't take a class from these two who definitely are educated enough to help with something like this for sure.
So we're going to talk about why your twin flame won't contact you. And for me, what I know to be very true is if your twin flame is not contacting you, there is a very good reason why.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's not because they're a douchebag.
Right. You should trust that, And I mean, trust that they're not being a douchebag, even though that feels like your experience.
Wait, what? Guys, I'm just going to go ahead and take a guess. They're going to say it's your fault that they're not contacting you. Just throwing it out there as a prediction. Who wants to place bets?
But at the core of this issue is a jewel. And it's that your twin flame is mirroring something for you. Okay, you and your twin flame are one. This is something that you just need to really integrate into your consciousness and understanding that you are not separate from your twin flame. I see this.
Your twin flame is you. So if they don't want to be around you, it's because you're doing something that is energetically separating them from you. It's not that they have a spouse. It's not that they are completely disinterested, like the person whose Reddit post we wrote, who's desperate to get this woman to stop contacting him and posting about him. She's constantly being told, keep going, keep looking at yourself, keep going within. This is your fault that they don't want to be with you. You need to find a way to heal yourself. They're not doing anything wrong. And this is a piece of the concept that we haven't talked about a lot, and why I find it so inherently dangerous is it reminds me of an abusive partner gaslighting someone else. So instead of you, but almost like a reverse gaslight situation, where instead of you pursuing someone and they share their disinterest in you and you take that in and you say, okay, well, I'm not going to pursue this any longer. They're clearly not interested in me. I'm going to respect them. Instead, you take their rejection as something you're doing wrong, instead of recognizing that the constant pursuance of them is the thing that you are doing wrong. You are violating their sense of having autonomy and having consent. And people should not be having to post to Reddit to get someone who thinks that you're their twin flame to get you to stop talking to them. That should be enough for you to say, okay, they're giving me a clear boundary that they do not want to talk to me. They are in a relationship with somebody else. That is a clear boundary that I should stop pursuing them. Instead, you have Jeff and Shaleia very creepily from their bedroom or wherever this is telling you you're still doing something wrong. Something is still inherently wrong with you, so much that you are pushing your twin away. You're pushing your lover away. You're still not good enough for your ultimate lover. That is a toxic mindset to have because not only are they promoting, hey, you should continuously stalk and harass your twin flame until they get a restraining order and then keep pursuing them, violate your restraining order allegedly. They're also saying, yeah, well, you're just not good enough for your ultimate lover yet. You need to heal yourself. You're not good enough. This is how cult leaders break somebody down. They break someone down until Jeff and Shaleia are now the only people that can provide answers to you or for you. So now they are able to sell their Ascension School and their other programs and their food programs and their mind alignment process to try to continuously get you to buy into whatever they're selling. Because guess what? You're not with your twin flame yet. Well, you're still not good enough. You still need to do the work. But don't worry, we have the package for you. We have the program for you. Just give us $8,888 and you'll have access to everything you need in order to match with your divine twin flame. It's dangerous to see yourself like that. Like, and I can understand if they were saying, maybe this rejection is triggering something in you and it can actually teach you about rejection or teach you how to approach your next dating experience a little bit differently. That's definitely something that a person would want to take responsibility for. In this ideology, Jeff and Shaleia are trying to basically condition their followers to think that they are not good enough for their twin flame if they are not in perfect union yet, because everything that you're feeling, your twin is feeling too. And until you both are in perfect harmony, you will never find love. You will never be with your twin flame. This is the part of the ideology that is really dangerous because your self-worth is getting lower and lower and lower to the point where you're going to start questioning yourself. And who are you going to go to for answers now? Jeff and Shaleia.
They're you, and like this is where you need to like grow and develop, and this is where like you need to change, you know, and stop focusing on them having to change so that you can be together. Like, it doesn't work that way, honey. Like, it works that you two are one. Whatever is upsetting you about them is because they're reflecting something. They're mirroring something in your union together as one. So it's like two aspects of you that are like fighting and like disconnected.
And look, we'll tell you something here. You know, I'll make a deal with you. $1 million to you from us. If you can do it the other way, the way that you've been trying and that's failing.
She's like, Jeff, remember we're scamming all these people. Please don't tell them we'll give them $1 million. Because it's a scam. Okay, babe? Shh, babe. Shh, babe, stop. Please stop. Please stop. We need to buy land for a commune, remember? Stop.
The way that you want to do it. The way that seems like the right way. The way that everyone else tells you to do it. You can do it that way, truly. And I see it.
Right.
I'm gonna give you $1 million.
You don't have to do anything because the masculine's coming home, baby.
Blame them. Yeah, that's great. But at the end of the day,
I love that he just like ignores her. He barely looks at her and then she tries to make a joke and he's like, "Not now, babe. I'm Jesus. Daddy's talking."
that's not what we're saying.
Right.
We're not saying it because we want to be
Counter
weird, different.
and yeah.
We want to be so counterculture.
No.
look at us. Like we're wearing like normal clothes and there's like, you know, like normal stuff. You see my car. It's like a normal car. Like I desire to be just about as normal as it gets.
Well, this is old because he doesn't have a normal car now. They're in designer clothes now. You should listen to us because we're just like you, just figuring it out. You know what we have that you don't? Our twin flames. You want to be like us, normal people? What do we have to gain by lying to you? Just your trust and your money and your absolute worship, total dependence. That's all. No big deal. Why would we lie, you guys? Why would we lie? I don't know. Maybe because you've made upwards of $1 million lying and scamming. Maybe.
I'm not trying to be counterculture here.
Yeah.
I'm just showing you the only way possible.
Or
and it's exactly what Shaleia is telling you to do. So my bet is good forever. If you ever blame your way into your harmonious twin flame union, come on over to my house. I'll invite you as an honored guest.
You can literally see her face like, babe, don't say that. Don't guarantee that. Watch them take this video down. They're going to be like, not Erin again. Not another video from this bitch. I will bet you that more people have found their husband, wife, soulmate, whatever they like to call it, twin flame, by just going through life, growing, becoming the best version of themselves, understanding exactly what they want, the type of partnership that they want to have, being open to new opportunities and new relationships, and being open to a relationship being different than what they ever thought it would be like, and valuing themselves enough to make sure they're in the right relationship for themselves, not finding someone, getting a crush on them, and then obsessing over that person, and then constantly feeling like you are never doing enough if you are not with that person, because you will never be whole without this other person. Plenty of people are very, very, very happy being single. Plenty of people are able to fill their own cup. Being in a relationship is not the ultimate thing for everybody. Do a lot of people value having a relationship? Do I value my relationship? Absolutely. But are there some people that really love their solitude and love to be alone and live life however they want to live it and be completely independent and self-sufficient? Yes. I feel like it's an abysmal number of people that have been successful the way that Jeff and Shaleia are claiming that this is the only way. So abysmal, in fact, that they had to assign twin flames and basically force people into relationships, allegedly. So give it up, Jeff. Give it up, please.
I'll get the best chefs in the world to lay out a dinner for you, and I'll give it to you in cash, any currency. And this is equivalent to US dollars. You fear and blame your way into your union? My deal is good. But I'll tell you what, I ain't never gonna have to pay out that bet. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna get frustrated on that path because it doesn't work.
Right.
Not because you didn't try hard enough, you didn't blame hard enough, you didn't stomp your foot down hard enough and shake your fist hard enough.
What about all the people who got frustrated with your way? And then you assign them not just who their twin flame was, but you assign them whether they were masculine or feminine energies. And then people got fed up and decided to leave and then make a Netflix docuseries about you, and then also a Prime docuseries about you. What about that one? Just trying to, like, I'm just trying to get us all on the same page, Jeffy Poo.
But because it's stupid. You're not gonna blame them into a relationship, let alone a harmonious union with you.
Yeah, right.
You have to. Just as Shaleia said, and just as we say every video, every course, every class in Ascension School and in our book and everything we do, that's how we live.
I feel like she's like, I don't know what you're about to say, babe. Like, wait, what are you about to say? What do we always say? Because it's different every time. What we say is just what we need to say to get people to keep paying us. So what are you about to say? Because I can't keep it all straight. What do we normally say?
That's how we are. That's how we got here. Really, really, really. That's how we got here. Not to shake your fist, but we mirrored. We looked at the mirror work and we said, oh, I'm upset with her because she is doing this thing. I'm upset with myself because I'm doing this thing, and I loved myself. And I resolved it.
Jeff and I have said this in previous videos and on Facebook, like, there is absolutely nothing that makes us separate from you. We are not special. Like, someone commented, oh, we were predestined before birth, and basically,
you're so lucky.
Basically, we don't have the authorization to talk about this because we're not like everyone else. Well, Do you want to know why? Because we took a different path. We made a different choice. We're like, oh, well, this doesn't work. Well, what if we try this? What if we do this and this will work? Yeah, it requires change. You have to change. If you're not willing to change, how the hell are you going to get different results? How are you going to get into your harmonious twin flame union if you're not willing to open up and allow yourself to be changed by listening to what the divine is asking you?
I just feel like this energy and Jeff laughing and making those hand gestures, it is so demeaning to people. It's so belittling to them. Like, imagine you're the person that was like, yeah, it must be easy for you guys who's feeling really, I hate to use the word desperate, but maybe just feeling really tired of trying over and over again to mirror themselves, and they're constantly being told that something's wrong with them, and that's how you're going to react. You're going to laugh at them because, oh, you guys did it differently and you know the real way. Come on, you guys are scamming. You're scam artists.
To open into.
Guys,
stop resisting it.
This one is the biggest derp.
Derp.
It's the biggest derp. And we're obviously, plainly laying it before you.
Right.
But once you see it, and you look back at what you were trying to do before, you're like, oh, derp. Wow. Right? Just, you can trust us.
Right.
You can stop doing the derp and just get the result. It's not hard.
Part of the problem I notice is when people are in this situation of their twin flame not contacting them, is that they, whatever.
Okay, good. 7 minutes in, we're finally talking about the topic that you said you were going to talk about. Cool. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Shaleia.
So numbed out. So numbed the fuck out from this huge block inside of them. And they're trying to do something that is outside of them to resolve this separation issue in their twin flame union, that a lot of times there's very little, if any, fruitful results that come from reaching out to the other twin flame without actually doing the spiritual work and clearing the blocks and loving themselves, like really releasing a lot of the pain and upset that has.
Or perhaps this person is just not interested in you, and you should move on to someone who values you for everything that you are, instead of constantly looking at yourself in the mirror to find all the reasons that you're still not good enough yet. Maybe do that, because this is going to guide you into a direction where you are constantly blaming yourself and frustrated at yourself because somebody else doesn't share those feelings with you. Move on. If they don't see the value that you bring, move on. Why would you want to continue to pursue them? Do we all have things within us that we need to heal? Absolutely. But we do that with ourselves and with our therapist, and we should not be motivated by hopefully being accepted by some other person. We should be healing because we want to better accept and understand ourselves.
They're not listening to something inside of you. This is the big elephant in the room of why your twin wouldn't talk to you, is because you're not talking to a part of yourself because you're numbed out from it. And as long as you choose to be numbed out from that part of you that is in pain and that is demanding to be felt and asking for the healing that it desires, your twin, it wouldn't be compassionate for your twin flame to get in contact with you. It wouldn't be. You think, oh, yes it would, I'd feel so good. But no, because as someone who is like desiring.
So does this mean that throughout your relationship, if you do end up doing this work and uniting with your twin flame, every time you have this numbed out feeling, or you feel maybe depressed, or you feel sad, or something happens in life that creates a major obstacle for you, are you undeserving of that partner? Or should that partner be someone that you can lean on, who cares about you enough to help you move through that feeling, who wants to support you? This breeds a toxic environment of self-loathing. And how does it create a positive, impactful, loving relationship? I just don't see it.
someone who is like desiring your twin flame harmoniously, you can't be with them if you're not in harmonious union with yourself. I don't just say these dumb, fancy spiritual words. I really mean it. Like, I had to go through this too.
I don't mean to like distract from the topic of what they're saying and focus on them, but there is something about the way Jeff like stares into the camera. And look, it's one of my biggest pet peeves when you can tell a creator is looking at the monitor, like right next to the lens to like make sure they look good instead of directly at the lens. So I appreciate that he can like look directly down the lens of the camera, but I feel uncomfortable. I feel like his gaze is so severe. Like, it's almost like he's not even human. It's like he's not fully there. Like, it's just a very strong gaze. And I feel like that's a tactic that a lot of like manipulative people use. They really hold eye contact with you. And I'm not saying if you hold eye contact, you're a manipulative person, but maintaining eye contact with someone is a skill that can be cultivated by a manipulative person. I think it's even like a sales tactic. And mark my words, you're going to start walking around the world and realize how little you look at someone directly in the eye. We do not really make direct eye contact with each other for long periods of time, especially nowadays with our cell phones in our pocket and in our hand most of the time. And I think that you'll start noticing that, but you might also notice when someone's giving you like direct, especially like elongated eye contact. Sometimes it might make you feel uncomfortable. Sometimes it might make you feel like they're peering into your soul, but it can also make you feel really, really heard, really cared for because there's this instantaneous connection. And I can just imagine meeting Jeff in person and him being able to like maintain his eye contact with you, maintain his gaze, and make you feel like he's really listening. And then, of course, he'll like laugh and belittle you and make you feel small, but he has to make you feel small because if you weren't small, who would you have to look up to? If you didn't feel small, you wouldn't be looking up to him and Shaleia. So I feel like it must be a sales tactic too. Just this idea of active listening, giving appropriate elongated eye contact, asking questions about the other person. It's like, what's that book, How to Make Friends and Influence People? I feel like it's a cult leader manual almost. And there are valuable things in it. And I'm not saying like if you read that, you obviously want to be a cult leader. I think especially if you're more of an introverted person, learning communication skills can be really, really valuable to you, especially if you're in like a sales position or in a management role or a leadership role. It can be really, really beneficial to learn these skills. But the way Jeff, it's almost like he's just not here. But I can completely imagine someone meeting him in person and feeling like we've seen testimonials of it, feeling like God is giving them a hug because it is not often that we have someone's attention like that. If you're someone who keeps looking at all the faults within yourself and looking for all the things within yourself that you need to constantly be healing, you might be more likely to see a gaze like this, to meet Jeff in person and make eye contact and feel like he is holding space for you. He's listening to you. He's giving you advice. He cares about you because of that direct eye contact. Like, I'm doing it right now. I'm not even blinking. Do you feel connected to me? Are you listening to me? I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable. Trust me. The last thing I would ever want is people wanting to be around me all the time. I am a very introverted person. I went and saw some friends recently and they just had like kind of like an open door policy in their home. And at one point I was like, wow, you guys really like having people around, don't you? And don't get me wrong, I love people, but I just need my recharge time. So the idea of being someone people want to be around a lot, I'm like, not the one. Love you guys, but I get overwhelmed.
You guys and Jeff, like we're not talking like we're on a mountain away from everyone. We've never experienced it. We're talking about it because we have experienced all this, you know? Like yeah, I mean, boy oh boy.
We did the trial and error thing.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
Right.
Here's a fun statistic for you. Generally, for the vast super majority of people on the planet, if you just listen to our information and you genuinely do it and you don't know your twin flame, it should take you a week to get into harmonious union. A really chill week. That's not an over-exaggeration. That's not an under-exaggeration. That's a very gentle fact.
I love that he's like, here's some crazy statistics for you. Fails to share an actual real statistic and then makes a promise of you falling into your twin flame union in a week. What a joke. This guy really likes to make false promises. They need more disclaimers on their videos and their websites because I'm gonna hold you to it. I want my $1 million, Jeff. A gentle fact. I want the hard facts. The hard facts, Jeff. You know what the hard facts are? All of this is bullshit, okay?
Really, just do it. And get the result. Period.
Yeah. So, if you have any questions or comments, in regards to not having your twin flame contact you, we can put it in the box below and maybe we'll reply. I don't know. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. It just, depends.
Share your thoughts.
Right.
Connect.
But it's just good to get like a conversation going.
There is something about Shaleia that makes me feel like she's always just like baked out of her mind. She's like, I know that we say that we have all of the answers, but we're not going to respond to your questions. So, I don't know, Jeff, what do you think? Like, what? I thought you knew. I thought you knew the answers. I thought you had the answers. Guys, leave your questions below. We may not get to it. But you should just enroll in the Ascension School. It's only almost $10,000. And then it's our little minions that run the classes, not us. So like, just don't make me do any work. I've been mirroring myself for so long. I'm just like tired. Okay, Shaleia. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for your spiritual guidance and leadership. And I never want to come across as being like mean or mean-spirited or rude, but I do find this a very, very dangerous teaching. And yes, this is an older video. Is it fair to harp on it still and continuously? I think as long as people are getting roped into this group and spending money to get Jeff and Shaleia's help and coaching and food packages and therapy sessions, as long as that's happening, I feel like I have to still talk about it because I find it inherently dangerous, these teachings. I find it detrimental to one's mental health to turn everything around on yourself. Because when you do get into a relationship and there is a challenge, which there will be in a relationship, it's not always harmonious. Sometimes you are going through something, or they're going through something, or they frustrate you, or you frustrate them. And you have to come to some kind of mutual understanding. It can't just be constantly, that's my fault. Oh, that must be my fault. That is literally the recipe for being in an abusive relationship. What makes me the most concerned about these two is they're kind of conditioning all of their followers to be okay being in an abusive relationship because their followers are already blaming themselves for every single problem they are having when it comes to chasing their twin flame. They're already blaming themselves for every single obstacle that they have. So it's very concerning that someone who follows Jeff and Shaleia might get into a partnership that is not healthy for them and is actually dangerous for them. And the might not even need to gaslight them because they're going to be so good at doing it to themselves. So what do you guys think about all of this? Do you agree with me? Do you feel like I'm being too hard on Jeff and Shaleia? Do you like this style of video, this more of a reaction content? I sometimes think, like I said at the beginning of the video, it's easiest to hear these things come straight out of the leaders' mouths and then debunk it. so that hopefully if someone comes upon this, it might trigger their critical thinking a little bit. And I can also exercise my critical thinking when it comes to these off the cuff reactions, because maybe you were thinking the same thing I was thinking, or maybe you wouldn't go out and seek this content for yourself, but seeing it here makes you really realize, like, oh, wow, I'm glad I avoided that group, or I want to get out of that group, or maybe it's just entertaining for you while you work. So, guys, let me know if you like videos like this, or if you prefer my deep dives, or if you've been liking some of the more true crime things that I've been posting. I really just tried to share things that I think either need more coverage or just calling out the BS that's going on. So, guys, let me know what y'all like. And I really appreciate you being here with me today. And if you have any cult leader fails, you want to send me your video or a post you've seen on Instagram or TikTok, or if you have a cult survivor story you'd like to share with me, I would love to start sharing your stories. Some of my favorite creators, Hannah Alonso is one of them. She does these like MLM horror stories, and I find them really fascinating to hear someone's personal experience being involved in a group like this. So, or an MLM, which in my opinion is another type of cult. So please feel free to email me your story or your cult leader fail to letfresherin@gmail.com, and hopefully I'll be able to feature it in a future video. So, with all of that being said, everybody, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate your support, and I will see you in my next video very soon. Until next time, y'all. Bye.